Hey everyone, it's Heather here. So this is my first crochet tutorial that I'm ever doing. I'm going to try anyways, so bear with me on this. I want to show you guys how to make this cute little marshmallow guy. It's just a cute little marshmallow. Super quick, simple. You can make a bunch of these in no time. So a friend of mine had showed me a picture, and I can't read patterns, so I couldn't buy the pattern. It was pointless for me to buy a pattern that I can't read. So I decided to go ahead and try to just replicate it in my head and go from there. So I was like, okay, let's see what I can do. So I'm just going to show you how I created this little marshmallow and show you everything you're going to need to make this little marshmallow here, like I made. So we'll set him off to the side. So I use the Premier Basic. It's just a medium 4 worsted weight. I used white, obviously, for a marshmallow. You can use any medium 4 worsted weight white that you have. You only need a small amount. You don't need a lot. You know, you don't need a lot of it. I do know that. And then I don't know exactly yardage, but you're not going to need a lot. I used a G 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. And then you're going to need, of course, a yarn needle to weave in ends. And then some embroidery floss. I just got some black embroidery floss here for his little mouth. I just got scraps that I had. And then I use a smaller needle for the embroidery floss that the embroidery floss can fit through easily. But it's not as big as the one that I used to weave in my ends for yarn. And then I got some amigurumi eyes. They're 6 millimeter little amigurumi eyes. I just ordered them off Amazon, a whole thing of different sizes. These are 6 millimeter ones that I'm going to use for his little eyes. And it comes with this little backing. You know, you can just pop it on there, you know. It just pops right on there. You just push it down until it clicks. And then I'm going to use just a safety pin as a stitch marker. You're going to want a stitch marker. Use whatever stitch marker you prefer. It's up to you. I just prefer this for smaller projects. And then you're going to just need some stuffing. Fiber fill is what I'm going to use. Just a small amount of stuffing. I might have too much here, honestly. Even this is too much. But you can use extra yarn, like scrap yarn you have laying around. Cut up t-shirt, anything you want for his stuffing. And I think that's it. That's all you're going to need for his little, to create him. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So I start with a cinch circle. Now everybody does it differently, but I'm going to go ahead and start with a cinch circle. You can do a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the first chain, and then do a chain 1 and then follow me from there, and you can kind of crochet into the circle. So let me see, and I'm just going to start with a cinch circle here. So I got a cinch circle here, and then of course with a cinch circle you're going to want to work, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look around my phone to see what I'm doing here. And then you're going to single crochet 6 times into your circle. So I'm going to single crochet 6 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cinch up my little circle. I'm going to pull my little tail, cinch up my circle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into this first single crochet here that we did from the previous row, and we're going to go directly and work a single crochet directly into it. We're not slip stitching we're just going to work in the rounds. So we're just going to do a continuous round. So we're going to go right into that, single crochet the first one, and we're going to single crochet 2 times into that one. And it can be a little tricky to get in there in that first one. It's always a little bit of a pain. Just going to single crochet into it. This is where I'll put my stitch marker in at. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this in here, my first one. And we're just going to single crochet 2 times into each stitch. So I'm going to go back into that same stitch that I just single crocheted into. I'm just going to go right back in there and single crochet again. So that's 2. Then I'm going to jump to the next one, and I'm going to single crochet 2 times. So 1 and 2. Now I have 4. And you're just going to do that all the way around, and you should have 12 stitches when you're done. Because we went from 6, and we're going to single crochet into each stitch around, so we'll get 12. So once you have your 12 stitches and you get back to your stitch marker, I'll meet up with you. Alright, so I went ahead and I did my 2 double crochets into each of those 6 stitches from the previous round. Now I have 12. I double counted. It just takes a second to quickly count. Make sure that you have 12 all the way around. So go ahead and make sure you got 12. And then what you're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little bit there so I don't lose my yarn and pull out a stitch. And then I'm just going to take my stitch marker out here. And then we're going to increase one more time. We're going to do one more increase round. And I'm just going to single crochet once, just one time into this first single crochet here. So single crochet once, and then go ahead and put your stitch marker back in. Put your stitch marker back in there. And then in the next stitch, we're going to single crochet twice. So we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. And then I'm going to single crochet once into the next stitch. So once into the next stitch. And then I'm going to go over another stitch, and I'm going to single crochet twice into that one. So there's 1, back into that stitch, and 2. So you're going to repeat that around. You're going to go 1, 2, 1, and then 2. So you're just going to repeat that. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, all the way around, and you should have 18 stitches at the end. And you should end in this last stitch here before your stitch markers. You should end with 2 single crochets in this last stitch. So go ahead and do that around, and I'll meet back with you at the end of this round. Alright, so I went ahead and I got my 18 stitches all the way around. So I'm back to my stitch marker, and I double checked. Like I said, it just takes a quick second to double check to make sure you got all your stitches. And I ended with 2 single crochet into this stitch here right before my stitch marker. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull up, and I'm going to take my stitch marker out again. Just pop that out there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work back loops. If my camera would focus here. So you got 2 loops, and I'm just going to work into the back loops only. So I'm going to go ahead and pop down in there and just work into the back loop and not the front one. We're going to leave that front one alone. Work into the back loop, and I'm going to single crochet into that back loop. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop my stitch marker back in. And we're done increasing. No more increasing. So this round is going to be all just single crochet into each back loop. So we're just going to single crochet into every back loop. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go into the next back loop and I'm going to single crochet into it. Now make sure you just get the back loop. And again, just single crochet. And you should have 18 stitches all the way around because there's no more increasing. So you're just working single crochet into, oh, well, maybe just a single crochet. Don't be like me and struggle. So I'm just going into the back loops. And I'm just single crocheting and it keeps falling off the hook. Just single crocheting into each of the back loops. And you're just going to do that all the way around. See, I'm just working into the back loops. So it's going to make like this little, it's going to pop down like this. And it's going to give you this nice little ridge. So this is where it's going to pop down. And it's going to start to want to fold in on you like this. Like buckle in on you. That's fine. The further you go, it straightens itself out. You'll be able to, it'll start to get its shape in a little while after you do a few rounds. So like I said, just single crochet into the back loops only all the way around. You should have a total 18 stitches at the end of this round. So you get back to your stitch marker and I'll meet back with you after this round. Alright, once you have your 18 stitches in your back loops only, you see how it's kind of popping down here. You have this little ridge. It's hard to see with white. It really is. It's kind of, and my camera's not the greatest, but I did it in the back loops only. I made it all the way back around. Now this is the simplest, easiest part. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take my stitch marker out here. We're just going to work in the round. We're going to work one single crochet into every stitch all the way around for a total of 5 rounds. So you're just going to go right into it. You're just going to do this for 5 rows. So you're going to just do 5 rows of straight single crochet all the way around. Each time you should have 18 single crochet in each round. So however you want to count, you can use your stitch marker like me and just continue to single crochet for 5 rounds. So this is my first round here. So I'm going to do this for a total of 5 rounds. And I will meet back with you again. And it's going to start to see how it's starting to want to go this way. We're just going to push it back. Go the way that we want it to. The way that we need it. Just single crochet. So you're just going to do that. And it's going to start looking like this. It's going to start getting its little body shaped. So do this for 5 rounds and I'll be back with you after you get back to your stitch marker for the 5th round. Okay, so I finished my 5 rounds and you should have something that looks like this. Little top and starting to look like the little body of the marshmallow. So you should have something that looks like that. What I'm going to do is this is where we're going to stop and we're going to put on, we're going to weave in this little end here inside here, tighten it up so there's not a gap like I have a little hole there in the top. I don't want that there because I don't want any stuffing coming out of there. And then we're going to put on his little eyes and his little mouth. We're going to find out where we want to situate them. So I'm just going to pull up there and I'm going to go ahead and flip him inside out right quick. And then I'm going to just tighten this little end up there. And if you did the chain, you might have a little gap too. You can just use this end right here. I'm just going to put this on my yarn needle here. And I'm just going to go ahead and sew it up. I'm just going to go ahead and, since I use a cinch circle, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go back and forth, just through the top here. Don't want to go all the way through because I don't want to see this on the top. You want to see your little ends on the top. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just kind of want to get it in there to make sure that it doesn't come undone. So mine's never perfect, but it's hidden, so it's going to be in the inside, so nobody's going to ever see this. So nobody's going to see this. So just go ahead and get that done, and then I'm just going to go ahead and, I think that's good enough, and I'm just going to cut that off. And that's just going to be inside, so it's okay. And then I'm going to flip him right back out. Right side out again. And then what I'm going to do is I want to figure out where I want to put his little eyes and his little mouth. Now this is the back end. This is what I refer to as the back side. So this is his little back side, and I want to go in the front side here. So I'm just going to go right across from it, and I'm going to see where I want to place his eyes at. Now this is where you can fiddle around. Make sure you don't, put it one eye on and then snap it in, and then you realize that it's not where you want it to be. I like to put both eyes on, make sure that they're even and where I want them. So I'm just going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 in the third little hole here. Just going to go ahead and stick one little eye on. You just figure it out where you want to place them. Everybody might want to do it differently, and I'm going to see. Because he's going to be stuffed too, so we got to kind of be careful where we place his little eyes. And I think I'm going to move one of these eyes over, because I don't like that. So I'm just going to pop this over here. Maybe. See if I like that. Yeah. And I just got his little eyes on there now. So you kind of want to make him a little circle again so you can see if that's where you want his eyes. See, just kind of go like this and make it into a circle and then hold it up. Because once he's stuffed, he is going to be round again. So you don't want him to be flat like this, and it's going to look, of course it's going to be weird. But you want him to be a little circle. So I think that's where I want his eyes at. I'm pretty happy with that. So once you have your eyes in place and you know where you want them, I'm just going to turn him out a little bit here. And I'm just going to put these little backs on, because I want his little eyes to cure. I'm just going to snap it on until it snaps into place. You can feel it snap into place. Sometimes you can hear it because they snap so loud, but sometimes you can't. You just feel them popping into place. Like that one I heard. And I just want to pop his little eyes in. So his little eyes are on now. He's a little wonky, but once we get him stuffed, he'll go back into shape and be fine. So now that I have his little eyes on, I want to do his little mouth. I want to make him have a little happy smile, a little cute smile. So I'm just going to take, I don't know, not that much. You don't need a lot, like a decent amount, but not too much of some embroidery floss here. This is where we're going to put on his little mouth with embroidery floss. And I'm just going to put this, if I get the right end here, I'm just going to try and get this on my needle here. Okay, so I finally got it on there. It's a little finicky because it kind of wants to split on me. So I just got my embroidery floss on my needle here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the back side, and we're just going to see where we want to start his little mouth. So I'm going to just come out, let's see, somewhere between his eyes. And you're just going to pull up And you want to leave a tail. You want to leave a little bit of that, because you're going to use this to knot it together so that his mouth stays in place. And then you're just going to go across. Let's see, right about here, I think. Maybe right here. And you're just going to come back out. You're going to go see where you want his little mouth. Remember to leave a little, don't pull it all the way tight though. You want to leave a little loop sticking out, because we're going to use that. We're going to tack it down and put his little mouth. So I think I'm okay with that being there. Then we're just going to come up right wherever you put his little mouth down at, where his little smile's going to be. So right about there. And you're just going to kind of pop. This is a little finicky. Just a little bit. It's harder for me because I'm working around this camera here, so I'm just going to come up. If you already know how to do this, then great. That's awesome. And I'm just going to pull down his little mouth. I'm just going to go, oop, I got off camera, sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and loop this, and I'm going to go right back where I just came out of. I'm going to go right back in there. And I'm going to tack his little mouth down. And you can tighten it up a little bit. You could play with it and kind of pull it into where you want it. Just put his little mouth in there. So I'm okay with that. It's kind of a little crooked smile, but it doesn't have to be perfect to me. I'm not a perfectionist on these things. So it looks fine to me. I'm going to go ahead and keep his little smile like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull off my hook here, or my needle. And then I'm just going to flip him a little bit here. And I'm just going to knot these ends together, making sure not to pull it really tight, because I don't want to pull his little mouth all out of shape and make it all wonky. And so I'm just going to go ahead and tie these ends together here. Just tie them a little, just very gently. Just going to knot them together. Just keeping his mouth in place, that's all. Make sure I didn't pull his little mouth out of alignment. Nope. Still cute. Okay. Then I'm just going to go ahead and cut these tails so they're not so long. And we'll just throw those off to the side. So, just going to clip them. And that's that, because it's going to be on the inside, so nobody's going to see it. And there's his little face. So, there's his little face. He's all ready to go. Now, we're going to start closing him up. So, we're going to go ahead and put our hook back in there. Tying it up. Alright. Alright, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do back loops again. We're going to do the back loops only once again. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my stitch marker out. Pop that out. And then I'm going to single crochet into the back loop only of this next stitch here. Just one single crochet into the back loop only. Like that. And then I'm just going to pull up. I'm going to put my stitch marker back in here so I don't lose where I'm at. And then in the next two stitches, I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together. Back loops only. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the back loop, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, into the back loop, go in, pull up a loop. And I got 3 loops on my hook. I'm just going to yarn over, and I'm just going to pull through all 3. And then in the next one, I'm going to single crochet into the back loop. The next 2 are back loops together. So go ahead and single crochet those back loops together, 2 together, single crochet into the next, single crochet 2 together, making sure we're working in the back loops only this round, and then single crochet into the next, single crochet 2 together, single crochet once into the next loop, single crochet 2 together. Maybe. And then single crochet once, and then single crochet 2 together. And that brings us back down to 12 stitches. So now we have 12 stitches again. Now this is where it gets simple, because this is where I go ahead and I will pull out my stitch marker, and I'm done with this stitch marker. I won't use that again. I'm done with it for this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, leave a decent tail, because you don't want to lose it when you start stuffing them. Because now we're going to stop and we're going to stuff our little marshmallow. This is where we're just going to take some fiber fill, and you just want small little amounts. And what you want to do is you want to take this top part, because it kind of wants to push up a little bit. You just want to hold it down as you stuff your little marshmallow. You're just going to, little bits at a time. Take some more. Like I said, you don't need much. So I'm just going to go ahead and, or you can use the tabletop and hold his little head flat down like I am. And you're just going to stuff him. You don't want to overstuff him though. You don't want to do too much, because you want his top and his bottom to stay flat like a marshmallow. So I think that's about it. I think I'm done. So you just want to make sure that when you flop this down, see how it's got you fold that down there and it's flat. And you want his little top to be flat. You just kind of want to give him a little squish. A little squish, squish. Keep him flat. A little round. And then what you're going to do, this is the easy part. You're just going to single crochet in both loops this time. You're going to go through both. You're going to single crochet 2 together all the way around. So 2 together in both loops this time. Now we're working in both loops. Single crochet 2 together all the way around. Oops, or not. Careful to not get your stuffing, because your stuffing is going to want to pop up. And we don't want to get that. So we're just going to keep crocheting 2 together. And I'm just going to keep going around 2 together until I can't go anymore. That's what I'm going to do. Until I can't possibly single crochet 2 together anymore. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And it's going to start closing up even more to where my finger's going to have to come out of there. See? And it's going to get a little tight. So it's going to be a little complicated. But I'm going to keep, I'm almost done here. Where I just, and I might get one more, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, can do one more. And then I'm done. So now I got his little bottom closed up. His little bottom's all closed up. It kind of wants to pop up, but we're going to fix that in a minute here. So once his little bottom's closed up, I'm just going to go ahead and tie off, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail. So I'm just going to yarn over and pull through. I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail there, decent length, because I'm going to show you how I pin this little guy's bottom down so it's not all wonky and sticking up. So now his little bottom's closed up. But you see, got this little like nubby thing. So we're just gonna get that to stay down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my use my needle again to get that on there. Now I'm just gonna pop this little thing down here, and I'm gonna kind of go down in this way because I want it to stay down. I don't want that popped up. So it kind of keeps it down a little bit. Oh, you can't really see it now. So it kind of puts it down a little bit so you can set him down, and he's squish him a little bit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and tie it just a little, to do just a little knot here. Just making sure this isn't coming undone. So I'm just going to do a little knot there. And then I'm going to go ahead and go through all the way to the top. I'm just going to shove my needle all the way through. Pull up. Excuse me. And then I'm going to pull it tight a little bit. Like pull up on it a little bit there. And then I'm just going to clip it. And it pops back down in there. So you can't see it. And I'm just going to get rid of my yarn ends. And that's it. That's my little marshmallow. So, a cute little marshmallow. It's a little squishy. That's all I have. So, yeah, you can make a whole bunch of these. They're not that hard. The video took longer than I thought. But they're really not that hard to make. So, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section below. And I'll try to get back to you on that if you have any questions or comments. Please no negative comments, only positive vibes. I ask that you be kind. This is my first tutorial. So if you follow along with me, that's great. If it was easy for you, let me know how I did. I greatly appreciate it.